All right. Time to get started. Good morning, good morning. All right. Time to get started here. So, first things first, BTTC. Want to take a look at this, see how this one did. Yeah, and it just ended up completely selling off. Yeah, so probably some kind of short squeeze here. Once the short was out, nothing to hold this up, so it just rolled over. That's what it looks like to me. Yeah, almost entirely back to flat. Yeah, ACIU also just kind of rolled over. Interesting how it's curled throughout the day, though. MIGI. Good morning, Beach Tune Music. Good morning, sir. Yeah, this was a very interesting one. So we just kind of had this one continue up. Then it just rolled over hard. Was there like a dilution or something on this? No, oh wait. Yeah, okay. So there was an offering. That's what drove this. Yeah, a sale of up to 9.6 million shares at the market offering for $40 million. Yeah, so that just completely crushed this. Got it. Okay. Pets actually held up pretty well. Wow. Okay, so yeah, it ended up going up throughout the day and it's still holding pretty high. I'll definitely keep pets on the watch list. This one's definitely in play. BTTC, we went over that, rolled over. Okay, CRBP. Yeah, this one, even though it was very noisy during this news catalyst event, ended up rolling over. And RETO. I mean, it had a very weird move with this one where it just kind of spiked down. Yeah, I don't see anything for that. I mean, yeah, this one just kind of ended up fizzling. All right, so I'll keep pets on the scanners. I'm going to take everything else off. Pets, you can stay. All right. All right, KPLT is on the scanners for me. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Okay, this clearly has some kind of momentum. This move started at, looks like 6 o'clock. And it looks like we did have news at 6 o'clock. Okay, Aaron's company and CCF Holdings to combine an all-stock transaction. Okay, looks like that could be something that would rally this. If that was good news for it. Makes sense. Alright, so that was an hour ago. Made some good money on NCI, very low float. I'll take a look at it in a moment. Put it on watch list for now. So was this all just the same thing? Because there's a lot of news that came out for this. It could just be different networks reporting, though. Yeah, so there's a couple headlines that actually came out for this. There was the one at 6 o'clock, but then there's a second one that came out at around 6:30. Yeah, and you can see the volume picked up around 6:30 too. Got in and out of KPLT a couple times, popped. Yeah. What does the float look like for this one? 4 million Lightspeed. 4 million Thinkorswim. Okay, so this is a lower float. All right. Yearly. Looks like for about 1 month we've traded sideways, but we were in a downward channel for the last 3 months. Got a huge rug, maybe dilution or something. And now we've been in this channel. Not the greatest daily, right? There's definitely some bag holders in this area. But we have had about a month to clear out a bit. Right? And we're up to the $9 now. Huge resistance up here at 1024. Huge resistance. Right, we're getting a little bit close to that too. So that's gonna be an issue. Something to keep in mind. Morning, it's been dead so far. Only KPLT. It's all I saw. Not shorting that. No, fair enough. I mean, you've got 2 catalysts for it. I mean, if anything, I would consider a short at like, 10, somewhere between 1020 and 1050, just because daily looks like such clear resistance. But yeah, I wouldn't really mess with it here. And you had a dump here as well, but then it just curled back. The volume isn't super impressive either. Like, we had some candles where it was over 100,000, but a lot of them were around 50,000, which isn't super high. All right, we've got BYSI. What is this looking like? So we have news at the hour. So we got news back in it. Okay, 40 million on Thinkorswim, or on Lightspeed. 40 million, 41 million on Thinkorswim. So higher float on this one. Do have news for it though. Have some volume. Level 2 looks slightly crowded already. The only thing I would add is that relative volume is a lot higher than the previous days, and where it had that massive flush on the daily. Yeah, relative. I didn't mention that, but yeah, relative volume definitely way higher. Right, even though I said it was only 50,000 shares, that is a fair argument, right? This volume, it's non-existent on the daily. Like if I go ahead and swap here just to the 5-minute. Like, you can see this volume here completely overpowering the daily volume, right? So, yeah, that is valid, definitely, even though it is a lower volume. Buenos dias, Capitan. Buenos dias. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're doing well. Alrighty. So it looks like YouTube changed the way the stream layout works. I actually can't see how many likes are on the video. Not sure why they changed that. But yeah, I don't know how many of you have liked, but I would appreciate it if you left me a like to help me get this out to more people. Would appreciate it. If you've already done it, then by no means ignore this. I just can't see the likes right now, so I don't know how many likes there are. But yeah, KPLT, probably the closest to in play because it's a lower float. BYSI is also interesting in its own right, just because it has more volume. So both of these kind of have something going for it, something going against it, right? This one doesn't have as low of a float. This one doesn't have quite as much volume. So they're both missing something, and they both have some things. You see 9. Okay, I'll assume 9. Okay, you see 3. Okay, now we're getting mixed results. 1 3 and 2 9s. It could have... I'm not sure when YouTube updates the likes to is the thing. Probably what I'll do, at least for today, is I'm just not going to ask for likes too much. Maybe like once at the top of the hour. But I'm not going to really harp on it too much. Yeah, go ahead. Return size. We'll go with 50 shares. 15. That's awesome. By the way, KPLT volume right now is over 3.7 million. I mean, that's fair, right? Because you have all these candles. Lightspeed versus Thinkorswim. Why do they gotta compete? Why can't you use both? Yeah, 1 moment. My apologies. I've been super stuffy lately. You only see the ones where you hit the like. Happened to me. Saw 10 and there was like 30 likes from your statement. I see. Yeah, that's right. You'll only see the actual likes if you hit the like button, guys. You see, this is how it works. Yeah, the 2 on the gap scanner, they're both basically dead. I still think I like KPLT just because of the volume, or of the float. Right, this one definitely has a better chart pattern, right? We're clearly moving higher. The higher float's kind of getting me. You can even see it on the daily. This is a much more ranging chart, right? We had like this one breakout area here, but even then, that went from $2 to $3 over the course of several days. So really, I mean, like even this kind of crazy range, you're talking about just like 20 or 30 cents a day. It's not really that impressive. I feel like the upper limit of what you could expect from this is pretty low. Much more interested in this one. Oh, right. Someone said something about NCI. I can check that one out. Yeah, so it looks like pre-market this did end up moving. Yeah, probably news and after hours, if I had to guess. No. Okay, maybe a squeeze then? Daily looks relatively stable. All right, you've had a bunch of random pops here, but they all sold off. Good morning, Telemann. Good morning. Okay, a bit of a drop here on BYSI. Right, went to 310, dropped down to 260. Oh, is it ultra low float? I kind of ruled it out because the chart looked like it was mostly on the backside. Take a look at the float if it really is that low. It says 4 million on Lightspeed. 4 million on Thinkorswim. I mean, yeah, 4 million, that's definitely low. You're totally right. I wouldn't call it ultra low float like a micro float, but it's definitely low, for sure. I think just because of the lower float, I will keep it on watch, even though it looks like it's mostly done. This thing, right, it's sold off from 240 down to 160. So this looks like it might just be rolling over. But I'll keep an eye on it. Small chance it comes back into play. I'll be honest though, this is looking like a be patient kind of morning. I'm not really liking what I'm seeing for opportunity here. Good morning, Christian. Good morning, good morning. JZXN 1 billion private placement news, but Chinese stock. I mean, if it has solid news on it, I can always think about it. I see what you mean here. Why did this not show up on my... Well, it might just be the lighter volume. Okay, we got 50 million on Thinkorswim. 10 million on Lightspeed. Yeah, looking at this, this is clearly kind of a pump and dump stock, right? This is rugged several times. It's been at a huge decline this whole time, actually. Not only a huge decline, but this actually looks very coordinated, right? This is very controlled decline, right? You can clearly see the channel it's been in. Recent reverse split. Yeah, that's why. Okay, that's why it's a discrepancy then. So yeah, probably closer to 10 million, right? Shares outstanding. I'm going with the Lightspeed read here. Yes. Oh, a 1 for 40 reverse split. Yeah, that was 4 days ago. Okay, so no, this is much lower than I thought. Okay. Geez, if it's $5 now, and there was a 1 for 40, this thing was like pennies. Right, what would that have been? Right, so we'll just say 550 divided by 40. So this was 13 cents. Wow. Yeah, 1.2 mil outstanding. Yeah, that makes more sense, right? Actually, no, yeah, it makes perfect sense, right? If there was around 50 million shares before the split, it was a 1 for 40, you would expect it to be slightly over 1 million shares outstanding. So yeah, that lines up. Yep. Okay, so this one's way more in play just because of the low float. You can see even this volume, knowing there's only 1 million, that makes this much more relevant. But like you guys said, it's a Chinese stock. This stock has a history of dumping. So that's not good. All right, we got resistance around the 720 level. Looks like we kind of rejected off of that. Yeah, you're showing 1.2 mil? Yeah, around 1 mil. Should be. Doesn't seem like traders are jumping on it. Yeah, this volume is significant for a 1 million float, but it's, if we're being honest, it's still quite low. Also, these two candles had the highest volume selling pressure. Doesn't look good. On the flip side, as a counter argument though, even though this is the highest volume on selling pressure, it is only around 10-20,000 per minute. So the selling pressure is also technically low, right? You get a 50,000 volume green candle. This is completely invalidated. Yeah, the level 2 is extremely thinly traded too, right? We're having a gap of like 20 cents. BCRX FDA approval. Oh yeah, I see. Huge move on that one. Honestly, that might just detract from this, right? We're talking about a Chinese stock with low volume. This one has FDA approval. FDA approves BioCris NDA for use of oral palate formulation. Super high float though. Yeah, we're talking 200 million. Right, you can even see it on the daily. This moves incredibly slow. With that said, this catalyst is extremely strong, and currently the spread is completely air thin, right? You got a spread of over 20 cents. So market makers are definitely out of the way for this one. So for the moment, the higher float is relevant, but it could become relevant very quickly. All right, I'm going to go to quarter size. I might engage with this. Okay, so I did have an order out there. Didn't get hit. Had an order at 782. Looks like I didn't get bit. I know this was higher volume, but given this news catalyst, it seemed illogical that we would do a full retracement. Yeah, now the only thing that would make more sense is waiting for 770s. I don't think it's going to get that low, though. Seems the more momentum earlier in the session, Seems to be cooling before the open. It's hard to say. I honestly, it feels like it's been all over the place. We've had some mornings where they've been hotter, some mornings where they've been cooler. We've seen sometimes the momentum's later in pre-market, sometimes it's earlier in pre-market. It feels like it's all over the place right now. We've been getting action earlier in the morning this week. I mean, yeah, like before I get on, we've seen a couple stocks that have been moving. I've been trading the start all week. It's been way busier for me. Okay, some volume coming through on the selling pressure. JZXN is holding very nicely too. I'm going to keep watching this for a moment, but looks like it could be doing something. Okay, we got some orders stacking on the ask here. See if we get any downward pressure. Yeah, we're looking at a spread of 16 cents on this too. Okay, so sizable order at 80. All right, did get one of my fills hit. 72 on the ask. Yeah, be careful with the rug pull. Yeah, I mean, there could be a complete rug pull. I'm somewhat optimistic, though. This was strong news, and I don't expect us to fully retrace and hold here. Could be totally wrong, though, of course. Okay, volume's still relatively low, even on this pullback. Got smoked Wednesday, no trades yesterday. Up today on KPLT. Well, good to see you recovering from it. Okay, nice move. Recovered a bit. Now I'm regretting not adding at 750s, but given there was a little bit of pressure here continually, there was a chance maybe it was just some kind of downward pressure. I think the theme that just this is a good catalyst and we fully retraced, that should be enough. Price shouldn't really have just gone straight back here. We'll see if I'm right or not. Yeah, I'm expecting us to curl towards 790. GZXN is ready to pop. Overreaction. I don't know if you're saying overreaction to this or if you're talking about JZXN. Got 78 on the bid, which is nice. 84 on the bid. $85 on the bid. I could just hit it here, but I'm aiming for 790s. I'll take 790. All right, nice little base hit. Had 50 shares on that one. Forgot to open up Open Office here. Yeah, JZXN still kind of hovering in that range. Certainly still looks bullish, but just the Chinese stock with it kind of throwing me off a little bit. It's actually probably, yeah, no, there was the higher volume into that buy I did. I should rate it a little lower. Still, I mean, half size going from 766 to 790. That's a pretty good hit. What was the high? I was 92, so I mean, I timed the top pretty well. Right, I wanted 94, but I just wasn't getting it. Yeah, I mean, having such a strong catalyst immediately sell it off feels like an overreaction. Beat is moving. I tried trading this earlier this week, and the slower movement just kind of crushed me, right? This is one I traded back here a few days ago. This kind of very slow movement churned me out. Oh yeah, also I got stuck in this weird rug. You can't really see it because it's 5 minute. But this thing spiked up and just completely sold off over the course of like 15 minutes. Really frustrating move. It seems to be rallying again. If I do ever engage with this one today, I need to keep in mind that this one is a slower mover, and I need to take a little bit lower size and hold longer. because this one shakes out more. For now, I'm probably not going to touch it. Yeah, we're still right up at around resistance, though, on this one. Right? You've got clear resistance here. We're just under that. Good morning, Graham Wilson. Good morning, Grammy Wilson. Yeah, a bit of a slower day. Very, very nice break, though, on this. What was this? 770s to 9? So, to be fair, this has massive range to it. I clearly underestimated it. I thought that the resistance from yesterday would be stronger. Right? We just kind of popped straight through it. We're tracing to it. Yeah, we got good volume, too. Right? 100,000. It's 1/10 the float. Or the shares outstanding. Yep, JZXN. Thinkorswim won't allow you to trade it. Isn't it the most frustrating thing when you're like watching a stock on Thinkorswim, you're thinking about trading it, finally you say, okay, I'm going to punch the trigger. Then you try to buy and it just doesn't let you buy. So you realize you've just wasted that whole time sitting there just for Thinkorswim to say nah. Yeah, I mean, for a day trader, I've been saying this. I feel like for day trading, it's almost to the point now where you just can't do it on Thinkorswim. They've been kicking people off the platform who are profitable, and they're restricting low float stocks from being tradable entirely. Or, well, they didn't specify exactly, but it appears to be low float stocks that are targeted. So it seems like they're really trying to pivot away from day traders. Your new average on JZXN is 808. I would be careful with this. While it's a Chinese stock, it's tempting to want to short Chinese, right? But I've also seen the biggest moves from Chinese stocks. Like, we had HKD a year or two ago that went to like 3,000 or something crazy. And since this is a 1 million share outstanding stock, this definitely has the potential to move like that. Not saying you can't short them, just saying be very mindful that these stocks in particular can move a lot in both directions. Yeah, volume coming in. We're seeing maintained volume, right? I'll be honest, I'm a bit afraid to jump on this one. That's racist. Short Chinese, yeah. Short Chinese stocks. Hold on, let me paraphrase. Short Chinese stocks. Yeah, it's sketchy. Happy to watch it go without you. I mean, to be fair, right? You've got the super low float. This could just be a legitimate short squeeze play. I'm looking at the 5 minute, comparing it to the previous day, right? The next clear resistances are very clear. But I'm surprised. I am genuinely surprised we broke through this resistance and we just smashed through it. Right? On super, super high volume, no less. Right? 150,000. You're starting to get to the point where you're getting float rotations. This is generally where stocks have huge moves. I might size down to 1/8 size, and I might engage. We'll see. Well, at it again. Gonna get hairy. New average 840. So you might have a topping tail forming here. Pretty high volume on this candle. Not the highest, but it's still somewhat high. It might be overextended. Yeah, this is a pretty big move. But that recapturing, there's probably a lot of people that went short here that are getting squeezed if they bought at this top. There was a 460,000 share buyer that appeared and disappeared a few minutes ago. I did not see it. Are you sure you're saying that right? Like 460K, that's half the entire float. That's unlikely. Maybe 46,000, not 460,000 though. It's forcing the liquidation around 1075. Definitely 460,000. Wow, that's... I mean, I'll be honest, man. Like, I find that hard to believe. That's half the entire float in one order. Like, that's... I find that hard to believe. Why am I not showing level 2? Because I'm not allowed to. You are not allowed to stream level 2 data. At least not live. You can do it with a delay, 15 minutes, but... I mean, if I delay the level 2 by 15 minutes, there's no point in showing it, so... Yeah. I mean, it makes sense. If you've ever paid for level 2 data, a lot of them say you can't redistribute it. In hindsight, I should have known, but some places too, like, what was it? Thinkorswim lets you have free level 2 data. So it was a bit hard for me to know. Or kind of like put one and one together. Oh yeah, it was 46K. Yeah, I was gonna say, dude, like if there was a 460,000 share buy order, I'm like, oh my god, that would actually probably move this to like $50 a share, right? Half of the entire float in raw buying pressure. Nah, this thing would be mooning. Okay, we're definitely pulling back here. Question is how much are we pulling? It's pretty big volume on this. Okay, I'm gonna get in here. Only 1/8 size, so very, very small size. Mostly just looking for a pullback entry. I am a little bit concerned because this volume is higher and we are still extended on the 5-minute. But I'm able to give it a bit of wiggle room here. Would really like to see 10 hold if we can. Okay, looks like 10's holding. Or maybe not. There's still a lot of noise here. I wouldn't call this 10 holding. I would say 10's fighting, if anything. Yeah, we had a failed 1-minute high on this pullback. Topping tail. Yeah, definitely a topping tail as well. Yeah, you've got a big seller, it looks like, on the level 2. Big seller pushed this down here. Very high volume. 152,000. They wanted to liquidate that 175 or 1075, as you said. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get out of this. Big seller coming back in on the level 2. Looks bad. Yeah. I mean, I would actually take this for re-entry, though. So we saw huge pressure here at 950s. They stopped for a moment, then came back in here for this next push. Could be just the case that there's just a really, really big seller. I just didn't think it would have pushed this hard down. What is this? Eight straight candles of red. So it could have been just the case. This was a push-up liquidation. Once the liquidation is done, then they're pushing it down hard with short pressure. There was huge selling pressure on this candle on the level 2, and then there was huge selling pressure on this candle. Looked like maybe around 50,000, 100,000 shares, something like that. Hmm. Looks like there might be a seller at 94. No, maybe not. Sold half into that pump there. I probably can't get much more than maybe 825, 830. Honestly, I'm still seeing red on the tape. I'm just cutting it. That was a break-even trade on that one. If this wasn't a Chinese stock, I would have been more willing to hold. But seeing how there was large selling pressure here, here, and here, when we're not curling on the 1 minute, to me that's too much weakness. Ooh, frustrating. What could I have gotten? So 843. So I could have definitely hit target because I was looking 825, 830. So I would have definitely been able to hit target if I held. Past few days, all Chinese stocks have been dumping like crazy. Yeah, some of you guys showed me yesterday. There were some really, really nasty rug pulls, like 90% drops. We've seen that a couple times. I'm curious how this ends up resolving. I know that we saw huge selling pressure. Like I said, there was around maybe 40,000 shares of selling pressure here. Similar here as well. And the candlestick volume matches that. And that's just what I saw on the level 2. So will this end up continuing lower, or was that entire thing a fake out? If that entire thing's a fake out, I'll be genuinely surprised. And yeah, this is rolling back under 8. If this ends up rolling down from here, I'm not going to regret getting out. All out of JZXN for now. Small loss. Still have my locates. So let's see if we get a pop so I can reshort this. Come on. We're not seeing a very lively market lately. But to be honest, the market was very weak in November. It was very weak. In the end of the year, it's the end of the year. Hope we get a few Christmas presents to end the year nicely. Yeah. You and me both. It's been... Yeah, November, and even the second half of October was pretty bad. It seems like December we had a few gifts already. Like Monday had a huge win. Made like $100 on Monday. But yeah, I was willing to engage with this on a pullback attempt. And it just so happens I bought not the top, but like the start of the pullback from the top. It's how it goes. That's how I always feel when I end up chasing. Well, not chasing, but like when I'm engaging on the front side of the move, you can never know where the top is. Frustrating that I ended up buying the top. The problem is most gifts were SSR, tradable on your brokerage. Too risky with not being able to get out on downticks on the longs. That's true, yeah. If it's SSR and you're trying to short something and it's just like popping like crazy, you can't even really... Yeah. All right, well, we're 2 minutes from the top of the hour. Hopefully we get something that pops up. I'm not really holding my breath, though. Very small green, or very small red on the day. I should log these trades, too. I'm going to need a calculator for some of these, because I was adding on that pullback. Let's see. Okay. I'm going to give that a B minus because I was buying after a topping tail and I was buying on increased volume. So that was a bit worse. This isn't right. Doesn't seem right. It seems a bit high. Maybe not. Well, actually, yeah, if the other one was like a break-even trade, that actually does make sense. Just gonna give that a C plus. I think maybe I was engaging too much on that pullback. Let's see, calculator. Yeah, that actually makes about sense. Okay. So yeah, the first trade was actually just a $16 loss. But yeah, we're at top of the hour now. We'll see if we get any catalysts to come out. Real quick shout out, if you're liking the stream, maybe leave a like. It helps me out. Or if you're really liking the stream, maybe subscribe. I do stream every trading session, 7 a.m. till 9 a.m. So you can see me do this every day if you're interested. CBD. Okay, no, that's not a play. ICBD is moving, but it's a $1 stock. What's the float look like? Okay, we're saying 500,000 on Lightspeed. 8 million on Thinkorswim. Okay, so probably dilution or reverse split or something. Yeah, I would say it's probably not that high just because given how this is ranged on the daily, it's moved slower in the past. I'm not really that interested in this one. All right, good move. 93 cents to 109, so this is a nice move. Subscribe and like, exactly. Why do I only stream from 7 a.m. till 9 a.m.? Isn't there action starting at around 4 a.m.? I mean, there is, but at least historically, from what I've seen, most of the action starts at 7 a.m. That isn't necessarily true at the moment, though. You are right. It seems that, especially the last several weeks, we've seen moves that have started as early as 4 a.m. So you do bring up a valid argument. Yeah, I don't really have a strong rebuttal for that. It's just that this is what's worked in the past, so this is what I'm doing. But you do bring up an argument that maybe what I'm doing needs to adapt. I do not disagree at all. AAIO, but it's a penny stock. Or AIIO. Yeah, I mean, this one's just too cheap for me. At least with YCBD, it's over $1. This one's just way too cheap for me. Yeah, like $1 is like basically my minimum. Like it's got to be $1 for me to touch it. I got some on my scanner here. ZDGE. Okay, interestingly, we had news at 6:30, but it's only just now running. Extremely light spread, right? 10-cent spread. $14 million shares. Started building a commission ECN fee optimized system around how to enter those sub $1 more efficiently, because a lot of them were running in November. Yeah, we did have a lot more penny stocks running in November. It was a bit frustrating because with fees, it's really difficult to trade penny stocks without just churning. Using a rebate route and offsets on the bid to get the best fills. They have crazy volume. They trade quite nice. I mean, if you found something that works, good stuff. Yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of this, right? This just kind of had random volume and is now selling off. Not a great setup on the daily either, right? You got like 230s, 220s on the daily. This is way up at 270. It's a bit too high to engage with. Maybe 240s. And we're not too far off of 240. Maybe I shouldn't rule it out. Seems like whoever's stacking the level 2 seems to be moving it down. JZXN looks like it's kind of based out. I don't really want to mess with that anymore, just knowing that there was a massive seller that pushed it down. And it's a Chinese stock. Spread is too wide, not enough volume. Yeah, volume is still a bit light. I wouldn't really be looking for this to pull away. Also, it's very strange we're getting this volume now, right? Like an hour and a half after the catalyst. Very weird. I would really only be interested in probably 240s. You're new and very much interested in stocks. Well, the one thing I will say is if you are truly new is be very careful. Take things slow. Trade in a simulator. The biggest way to lose money is to be overconfident, is to think you know what you're doing when you don't. I've been trading for years, and even now, sometimes I question my abilities. So if you're new, I would just say study as much as you can if you're really interested. But really be aware that this is really something that is a very, very high skill activity. There is so much data, there is so much learning you have to do. And just be aware of that, because that's the biggest thing, is the learning curve is extremely high. A lot of people don't even make money when they trade. So just things to keep in mind. I'm not trying to dissuade you or discourage you, but just to be realistic, it's very brutal. A lot of people lose money. It takes a long time to get good at it. And yeah, just keep all that in mind. CDGE, easy to borrow in Weeble. Yeah, I don't know. Just the low volume, the fact that we gapped up, the whole thing seems kind of weird. I probably shouldn't touch this one. There's a lot of red flags with it. The problem is there's like nothing else to touch today, right? I mean, probably the next best thing is this, but this is a penny stock. Any recommendations on what to study? It depends what you want to do, how much time you have to put into it. In my opinion, and this might sound boring to a lot of people here, but in my opinion, if you're brand new, I would actually recommend studying just the general market, learn about investing, learn about dividends, learn about index funds, because that's the safest way to where you're not just going to destroy your money, probably. In my opinion, of course. If you're interested in day trading, I do have a Discord. It's in the description if you're interested in that. But again, and this is just me looking out for you. I personally, the link should be in the description. If it's not, I can post it. And I'm not trying to push you away, but I'm just saying, if you're brand new to trading, I would really recommend avoiding day trading as your starting point, just because it is probably the most difficult of all the trading aspects. You're better off starting with learning about investing, learning about mutual funds, learning about index funds, learning about the S&P 500. That's a lot safer, especially for a beginner who doesn't know anything about trading. But yeah, link should be in the description if you do want to join the Discord. I'm not saying you can't. I'm just saying that have realistic expectations. See, that's one of the nice things about not selling a course, is I don't have to worry about like trying to shill some course to you. I can actually be realistic and say, hey, this is a difficult genre to get involved with, a difficult niche. Also, can I say thank you guys all for watching? I see we're at a pretty high view count right now, 64 viewers currently. That's super high. I appreciate all you watching. If you're liking the stream, maybe subscribe if you're interested in day trading. I do stream every day, like I said earlier. I do appreciate all of you that are here. Wish I could show more, but it just doesn't really feel like there's a lot of stocks in play at the moment. Right? JCXN feels like it's kind of on the backside at this point. And YCBD is just... it's just a penny stock. Yeah, it feels like we've not really been having a lot of great setups lately. Just with stocks meeting all the criteria for a high quality move. JCXN is our stock, but going in out fast, yeah. Man, you botched that, JCXN. Now I have to watch it go down without me. Tricky one. Well, it is a tricky one, right? It's a Chinese stock. We saw huge selling pressure on this move down. Yeah, I don't know. You could just say I got unlucky timing, choosing this as my entry for the continuation. But I mean, on the flip side, we did have this topping tail. It was quite extended on the 1 minute. So like, it wasn't that great of a quality setup either. I think I'm actually going to downgrade it just because, yeah. I had it at B-. I'm actually going to change it to C+. Right? Like... here actually had a lot of issues with it, in hindsight. Beat still in play. Yeah, I saw beat was moving earlier. Right, we're kind of basing out here. Yeah, just the way that this thing moves. It's a higher float. It moves slower. Yeah. It's a bit more difficult for me to gauge. And this is one where you actually would probably just need to hold longer, given how slow it moves. I don't know. Probably just waiting for the half hour here, see if we get anything interesting to trade, because I'm not really liking engaging with any of these setups right now. I gave more risk to JZXN. By the way, glad I took small size, because if I took normal size, right, if I took normal size and I was stuck in this would have been like a $60 loss. So I'm glad I took reduced size on it. Now, just going to be patient. Wait for the half hour. See if we get any follow-ups here. On the 5 minute on JCXN, isn't the Dragonfly Doji an entry? Oh, on the 5 minute. It could be. Context is important. So I would agree that this could have been an entry, but the thing is, the thing is there's like multiple issues with it. You had this downward pressure on huge selling volume. This actually underrepresents it. In real time, we were seeing huge volume spikes on these moves down. So there was someone selling very aggressive here. You could argue to try and enter here, but one other thing is that this level is very far from the highs, right? This looks more like a head and shoulder starting to form, if anything, right? You got the shoulder, head, shoulder, and now we got the second leg down. No, if this was higher, right? So if we had this pullback and then you saw this candle only pull back to maybe here, and then you were seeing this formation, that would look more bullish. But this is just this pulled back too far. In my opinion. AKAN continuing to move. Pretty big volume coming in on it too. What was the shares on this one? Yeah, so shares are low. Yeah, I think the low float might make this more justified. Yeah, but this could be a topping tail. This is a pretty huge move too. 107 to 128. Huge move for a $1 stock going 20 cents. See how this pulls back. Yeah, main reason I'm willing to give this one more leeway is because even though it's a very cheap stock, the float is also a micro float. So yeah, even looking at the daily, this thing's quite beaten up. This could be due for some sort of spike, right? We're at like 117 right now, so around here. You're talking about the first Dragonfly Doji. Yeah, I mean that one would have been more reasonable, right? Because that was during the consolidation and breakout. So yeah, that would be much more fair for an entry, right? Because you're still on the front side. You haven't pulled back very much. That would be a much stronger entry. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so lower volume on this pullback. I am seeing a bit of a discrepancy though, right? Even though both Thinkorswim and Lightspeed are saying this is under 1 million shares outstanding, level 2 is extremely stacked. Yeah, so I'm not as convinced. Yeah, do not believe the flow is correct. Locates are super cheap. Yeah, I mean, okay, yeah. Right to my point, right? The level 2 data, we're showing extremely thick level 2. So maybe there was a dilution or something. But yeah, the 1 million does not seem correct. I agree. Yeah, and if you're seeing very very cheap priced short locates, then yeah, this is probably a higher float. In which case, higher float plus lower price, probably shouldn't touch it. I fully agree. Yeah, I think I'm just waiting for the half hour, see if we get anything better to trade, news-wise. Made 1250 off of it. Green to start. Good stuff. Good stuff, man. Yeah, only 3 trades for me today. Again, just not really engaging much. Yeah, BCRX, I mean, it's just kind of recovered and went sideways. Nothing really to look at there. Just curious, since it's a bit of a slower day, where is everyone from? You're from deep South Texas. I'm from Pennsylvania. On the East Coast. Do a quick little poll while we're waiting here for the next 5 minutes. Yeah, you shorted some at 120 since the locates are super cheap. Had some big plus. Some big pulls even this morning. Yeah. Tesla, Central New York, Australia. We got people all over the place. Minneapolis. Okay. South Carolina, Maine. Wow, so we got people all over the place. Cool. Yeah, I remember I was looking at my metrics and it showed like 60 or 70% of my people that are watching are from the US, but then there's like 30% that YouTube just doesn't know where they're from. Dubai. You're green, but it's in and out fast. It's tricky. Yeah, I mean, really the biggest opportunity I missed was probably on JZXN, right? This entire front side had a lot of potential. I was really afraid to engage with it just because it was a Chinese stock. Looking at the 5-minute, you had this clear resistance, right, from the previous day, and I saw we were approaching it. I really didn't think it was going to resolve well, but we ended up just kind of smashing through it, going straight up, and then the move was over. So, very difficult for me to actually make a move on that. It felt like I would be fighting against headwinds if I was trying to buy during this pullbacks. No trades today. Wow, Ben, you're from the UK? I didn't know that. That's crazy, dude. 6-7 degrees with a high chance of 83 in Texas. 6-7. It's tricky, but if you can catch the wave, it's good. No, yeah, I mean, this had huge potential, right? Like, even just from this spike, going from 770s up to almost $12. Right, that's like a $4 or $5 move or something. But yeah, I mean, I'm still very, very green on the week. That $100 winner I had on Monday, really carrying hard this week. If I can even manage to end the day, roughly break even, this is going to be a good week. So I'm in a pretty strong spot to end this week out. Definitely not as good as the last few weeks, though. I feel like I've been less efficient the last several days. Partly that's, I think part of it's just I've been working on other things IRL, and it's been paying a toll on me. I ended up even missing a recap on, I think it was Wednesday because of it. But yeah, it's been difficult on my end for sure. But I gotta try and correct that because I haven't reviewed my accuracy for the week, but I'm almost sure my accuracy is lower this week. It's probably around like 40 or 50%. Significantly lower. But yeah, good stuff. See, most people were profitable today. It's awesome to see that. And I mean, even though I'm red, I'm like not even like really red, right? It's totally realistic that I end the day green, right? Totally within reach. I wonder how Ross does it successfully on most days. What's the secret? It must be his intuition is better than most others. I mean, there's probably some reasons why he does better than most people. I could speculate, but I won't. But I have a hunch why he does better. All right, so we're at the half hour. We'll see if we're getting news catalysts out here. Now, because my scanners are free and they update a few minutes slower, we might need to wait till 4 or 5 minutes to actually see if there's a move. But I will let you know if I see anything. We'll say it. Probably shouldn't say it. yeah, probably shouldn't say it. Probably better to keep my subjective thoughts to myself. He is red on AXIL. Ross was. His bankroll is high. His bankroll was quite high. NIVF, we got a move here. Let's see. We do have news at the half hour. Cheaper stock. Very low float. High volume, too. Death Spiral stock. Pretty hard underwater here. Okay, so we had a spike on low volume, pull back on higher volume. Yeah, the volume's quite high, but this volume being on a red candle is not great. We've bounced off this 150 level twice. So it's bounced off of 153 times. Yeah, I see that. 3 days ago, it did do a pump and dump. Also, it's a death spiral stock, which is not great either. Worth noting, though, this volume is higher than that other pump and dump, and that went much higher. Yeah, very range bound. This feels too unclear to me. Volume profile seems all over the place. Even though Lightspeed and Thinkorswim are saying 1 million shares, this level 2 also feels very thick. I'm wondering if it's actually a million. Hmm. Looking forward to the recap. Thank you. Had an amazing green week, 90% accuracy. That's actually crazy. Think you're going to call it? That's awesome, dude. 90%'s really, really high. Yeah, my accuracy's been a lot lower this week. I feel like I've been chasing or not really being as grounded as maybe I should be. Still find it to be unrealistic and too risky. Hmm. I mean, I have my opinions, but I don't think it's my place to really share them right now. So I probably shouldn't share my opinions on that. But he's not doing anything wrong technically as long as he's not asking people to do that. I mean, there's a difference between legally and morally doing things wrong. Just because something is legal doesn't mean it's moral. This is still pulling back. I'm gonna take a starter here. Maybe I'll get rugged. We'll see. We saw decreasing volume on this pullback, and this pushed down on light volume too. It is just not my day today, it feels like. Seems like I'm just buying all these rugs. So you had a pop-up on high volume. It sells off on descending volume. And then it goes all the way down to 150 again on low volume. And then it breaks. When I was doing my 2-week trial on Warrior Trading, I was getting really nervous when Ross called out stocks and he jumped in. And sometimes this led me to jump in myself. I ended up muting him when stocks were popping. Yeah. That's something I think I do as well sometimes. Dude, I'm just getting smoked on this. High volume on this downward pressure. Like the calm pressure atmosphere here though. Yeah, I try not to hype things up too much, because if I like hype something up too much, then that's just gonna make you want to buy it, you know, and that's not my goal. Yeah, I'm getting crushed on this move. Honestly, crazy how it can have this much volume. Is this another one where it just had some offering and the float is not matching right? Because again, I got in this because I thought it was a low float and this volume was having high rotation. It might just not be the case. Closed the NIVF for 28 cents. Not short anything. Still red on the day though. Sometimes you turn the captain down so you don't influence my trades. Yeah, sometimes you have to, right? If you're really, really focused on a stock and then you're like, oh, I'm getting in here. You know, it can trigger you. I try not to overhype things, but even if I don't hype it, if you're like thinking about getting in something and then you hear me say, I think I'm getting in or I get in, that can definitely trigger some emotions. Absolutely. He does call it his entries most of the time, taking a starter here. Everybody knows he says that. Yeah. Also, I'm going to cut this. I think that the float is higher than 1 million. I'm looking at the level 2. And the level 2 is very thick. Right, this is not 1 million share float. Maybe there was dilution or something, but something's wrong. You're calling it. Thanks for the stream as always. Catch you later. The weekly recap. Yeah, you have a good one, Ben. You have a good one. Yeah, there's something wrong with this stock. This isn't 1 million shares. Yeah, sitting down 23 on the day. Really rough day. Not even just about like the returns, because like 23 bucks isn't really that big of a deal. But just my accuracy's been very poor, it feels like. And I'm not necessarily that's entirely a me judging wrong thing, but more of just it feels like a lot of setups have been failing for me lately. It could just be variance, right? It could just be that this is a period where a lot of my setup criteria fail, or it could be an adaptation thing. I mean, that's something I'll have to think about, review that a bit more thoroughly, and come to a conclusion. Right? But like, even this, I got out at 34 and it's at 27 now. So like, I got out before this flush. Yeah, I see why CBD. I still don't really want to engage with it though. Yeah, what is my accuracy for today? It's low, right? Well, 50%. It feels horrendous. Maybe it's just because this is basically a break-even trade. So I would say it's 1 winner, 2 losers today. And the 2 losers are pretty sizable too. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how this week shaped up because it really feels like I've been struggling lately. Just woke up. How's your day been, Cap? It's been all right. I feel like I'm being watched, and anytime I try to buy something, it's rugging. Like, even look at this. This is disgusting. I mean, maybe it's not me. Maybe just a lot of these setups are failing right now. But no, this is a pretty nasty rejection, right? This was up at like 175, and now it's at 118. Like, this has dropped huge, like 50, 60 cents. You've been switching your strat lately, focusing mainly on low floats with news at market open. I mean, whatever works, right? Yeah, after we started on Monday seeing a bunch of stocks breaking out and running hard, and I had that huge hit, this week I've been trying to trade it more aggressively, and I'll be honest, I feel like I'm just getting punished like crazy. Yeah, I mean, I got out here, and I thought I got out at the bottom, and just to see it go down more. On YouTube, there's a delay, but on his website, there's very low latency. Yeah, it's almost instantaneous streaming on if you watch Ross directly. Yeah. I mean, hey, that's why you can pay to watch him. So you can watch him in real time, see how he's trading in real time, I guess. This week is whack. It's true. I lost on Monday a lot. It's very weird because like on Monday was my big like home run day. So it's interesting how people can have totally different, right? Even Ross, right? He had a max loss on Monday, I think, or something like that. So very interesting how variance can play from person to person. Maybe it's worth the money then. Well, I mean, he has thousands of people that watch him and pay, so he's getting, I mean, there's got to be some value that people are finding if they're willing to pay that much. Your indicator setup wouldn't suggest certain trades in IVF. It's a lie when people say they always win. That's not reality. Yeah. And I mean, this week's going to be very interesting to review because, and I could be wrong, but it feels like my accuracy is below 50% this week. It feels like it. Right? I've had 3 of the 5 days this week be red, which is very surprising too, right? I was on a 10-day green streak. So for this week, for me to be red 3 of 5 days is a big shift. Right? Something's definitely gone wrong. And maybe it's with me. Maybe it's just the market. That's why it's worth looking at to see which one it is, if not both. But something's definitely shifted. Got to at least recognize what it is. Whether or not it's something that will fix itself, or if I need to manually fix, who knows? But I need to figure out at least what is the cause, right? I mean, we look at today, the 2 stocks I lost on NIVF. I was trying to trade for this curl here. And again, it's actually interesting. So exact same situation. I bought here looking for the curl, and I got the very start of the rug. Same thing with the other stock. So which one was it? JZXN. Exact same thing. I bought here for the start of the curl, and I bought the front of the backside. So that's 2 for 2. That I've timed it, quite frankly, at the worst possible time. Now, both times I got out of the way, so I dodged some of the death, some of the bleeding, but very interesting how that works. Is that just bad variance? Because it is only 2 sample sizes. Good morning, Pierre. Good morning, good morning. You should have bought it 6, sell 7. Well, I mean, yeah, you could say that. That's right, now the gap. Yeah. Well, we got 7 minutes till the top of the hour. Like always, I will stay after 9 o'clock, see if there's any news that pops up. If anything comes up that's interesting, then I will stick around to try and trade it. But if I don't see anything 5 minutes after the top of the hour, then I'm going to bounce. One final shout out for you, those of you still here. If you are enjoying the stream and you want to see more of it, I do stream every session, 7 a.m. till 9 a.m. So subscribe if you want to see more. It's my last shout out for the stream. Am I trading in a cash account? Correct. This is a cash account. NIVF, come on, still dropping. Oh my god, like, holy crap, dude. Like, this is... like, it's unbelievable how much this is selling off. Create a section on your daily for stocks you trade about how each one behaves. Sounds like a lot, but it's simple. My comment on NIVF was return trip and negative. Traded it in the past. No, that's a good comment as well. Return trip negative perfectly describes what happened here. And like, even someone mentioned it earlier, right? This had made a move a few days ago. It was a rug. I was under the impression, like, you just look at the volume bars. This had higher volume than this move, and it was pre-market for the most part. So in my mind, I was thinking, okay, this could have the potential to move more than this because the volume's higher. So that was kind of my thinking. I should have maybe respected more that this was a pump and dump. And I should have also respected more that the level 2 is clearly signaling this is not a million shares float. The fact that Thinkorswim and Lightspeed are both reporting 1 million or a little under 1 million, but it's not, suggests that some kind of dilution has occurred at some point, and that could be creating headwinds. NIVF was a large seller. Yeah. Hello, how long have you been trading? Are you profitable? Started watching this week, thanks. So I've been trading for around 7.5 or so years. Started with investing, right? So I wasn't like day trading, but I started with investing, did that for a couple years. Then I started experimenting with like options and futures. Didn't find success from them. Started doing small caps about 3 or 4 years ago. This is all ballpark numbers, but around 3 or 4 years ago, I started doing small caps. Found Ross, found a couple others, learned from them. Wasn't profitable for about a year. Then on the second year, I was like roughly break even. And I ended up developing kind of my own system because I couldn't find success with Ross's system. So the last 2 years, like on filings, I have been profitable and I've paid taxes last year. And it's looking, unless something catastrophic happens, that I'm going to be paying taxes this year as well. So just from a tax standpoint, I would say, yes, I am profitable. But not majorly profitable. That's part of why I'm doing this YouTube channel as well. More of a kind of, what would you call it? More of just a way to kind of verify my track record to see like what my actual performance looks like. Like you can look through the videos on this channel. You can see what my results are each day. I've reported every day except one. I ran out of time and I was just going through some IRL stuff. So I wasn't able to report on this Wednesday. I did make a note of it. I made a post. I lost like $28. And to be fair, I did stream it too. So it's not like I was hiding it. Like I did stream my results. So I just didn't make the recap video. Have I got plans to scale up day trading? So day trading is really more of a side hustle for me right now because I have a... It's more of my like intraday swing trading that does better. I'm much more profitable with that. So this is more like a kind of side hustle that I'm trying to work on. Like if I could get better at this so that I can fund my swing trading, that's really the goal. And I mean, even if like I can grow this channel and like either I could monetize the channel to get extra income, just something. Like this is more of a supplement. Not the actual main source of income. Even if you're not making money, you're making some friends. I mean, I am making money, not today, but like over the course of this channel, I have made money day trading. Okay, so like let's be honest here. I have made money. Okay, since I've started this channel, just so we're clear. It's not like I'm not making money. It's just not a lot of money, right? Especially after commissions. So. It is a little bit, though. And IVF, the white line, equity line. Okay, capacity. They need cash, have to be diluting. Yeah, they're probably diluting too, right? I mean, just if you can look at the level 2, you can see that the spread's just super thick. For 1 million float stock, this should not be this thick. All right, but we're at the top of the hour here. We'll see what we get in terms of catalysts, if any. Hopefully we find something. Pierre saying NIVF should touch $2 today. It just took 500 shares. I mean, good luck, Pierre. I mean, I wish you the best. Saying $2 is quite a claim. We'll see if it works out for you. I'm very skeptical that NIVF is going to move. Go commission free. Webull is good. So actually, I do want to touch on this. So I have noticed this, that I am more profitable with a commission free broker. I was using Thinkorswim before they started doing their restrictions and stuff. So once I finish this account challenge, this will be good to document because I'm planning on using a zero commission broker after this. Because my commissions are eating very, very heavily into my profits. All right, so VVPR, looks like we have a move on this. We do have news at 9. Okay, $300 million definitive joint venture agreement. Okay, looks like we got around 10, 20 million shares. Hmm. So this thing kind of just pumped and dumped. Also, this is talking about South Korea, so this could just be a Chinese company. Check it. No, this is United Kingdom. Okay. And they signed some agreement with South Korea. So looking at the daily, it appears we have gapped up. Right, we actually were trending higher here on low volume. So maybe someone was anticipating this news. What are we looking for share size? Yeah, let's bump this up to 50. Yeah, this kind of just sucks. It just kind of rolled over immediately. Like, what, is this the pullback? Like... Hmm. It's too fast for you to short. Yeah. Yeah, I see VVPR. It's... doesn't feel safe to buy this. Like, it could definitely bounce here. Right, we did just kind of immediately sell off. But I'm not super high conviction on it. What are your thoughts on TLRY and AKAN? I can look at them real quick. Yeah, so AKAN still holding up quite nicely, right? It is a penny stock. We're seeing pretty big range. On the daily chart, it looks pretty horrendous, though, right? We did just kind of completely capitulate. Yeah, this... I mean, this would be one where you have a lot of headwinds going into it, right? We're only at around $1 and some change. So you've got... You're basically right. I mean, I don't know what the 200 EMA and SMA are, but I would assume you're approaching the 200 on the daily chart. Probably going to run into some strong resistance. TLRY. This one's moving nicely, but again, similar story where you just... this has been in a downtrend for so long. It does seem like it's curled a bit, and now we're having a big pop. But yeah, you do have this strong headwind from bag holders to deal with. A very, very strong move in the last several days. Yeah, I think I need to pass on VVPR. Float's a bit high. This setup kind of just looks abysmal. It just died immediately. TLRY is a 115 million share float. Yeah, that's just going to hurt it too. It's not going to move as much. All right, considering VVPR is out of play, I see nothing else good on the scanners. I'm going to call it here. Kind of a disappointing way to end the week. $23 down. Only 4 trades. Accuracy is basically 50%. I would actually argue it's probably closer to 66 or 33%, just because this is like a break-even trade. So yeah, not really good day for me today. Yeah, I'm going to go cry now, and then I'll go ahead and make a recap later. You guys have a good rest of your weekend. I'll do a weekly recap, either posted Saturday or Sunday probably. But yeah, you guys have a good rest of your day.